thought I'd do a video showing what I've been working on the past couple of weeks. A friend asked me if I could make a Dalek with like some flashing LEDs in its head. I thought that sounded pretty interesting. I've always wanted to make a Dalek. So the first thing I did was I went on Thingiverse and see what there was available. I found this little guy from a user called Audrey2. I really like the way it's put together, especially these layered parts right here. So I borrowed some of that parts from my own design, but I wanted to give him credit for that part of it. But I wanted to design my own, so I started designing this one. This one's a 10th scale, and this is a little smaller. This is the one I've designed in Fusion 360. I borrowed the structure that Audrey2 had for this part, the same layered type of structure. It has a get down in there. The head can turn 90 degrees. A little dome on top. There's little ball joints here. Well, it's not glued on yet. You can see that better already. There's little ball joints here for the guns or whatever you want to call them, the things that it manipulates things with. I think this is a gun and this is like a plunger held in with a little screw to tighten them down. This is just brass rod, 1/8" or 3mm brass rod. There's some more 3mm brass rod. I've got to redo this part. It's way too loose, and I'm probably going to have to change the geometry a little. The geometry for this I got on the Project Dalek forums. You have to join to get the files and everything, but it's a pretty good resource for, well, it's an excellent resource for the physical files, but it seems to be aimed at people making real full-size Daleks. This is just a 10th scale, so I just divided everything by 10, all the dimensions, to get this guy. These little things right here, this is where the hemispheres will go. These are just little places for them to be glued to. So it can be done in different colors. A lot of this I did so that it would be easier to make in different colors. But the part I really wanted to show now was I decided to, instead of just making the LEDs flash, I would make it, I would put some sound in it. Just make it like a display model. And to do that, I'm going to use a DY-SV17F module. Here's the pinout of it. I'll put these images at the end of the video. Here it is on a breadboard. I have it wired up. You can run it in several different modes. The mode I'm going to use is this independent mode 0. And to get it in that mode, you have to set up 3 pins in this configuration right here. Low, high, low. And when you have it this way, these I/O pins, I/O 0 through 7, will trigger a different sound. So you can play 8 songs or 8 sounds this way. If you want to use it with like a microcontroller, you can have UART control and you can play many more files. There's another mode down here I've tried to get working. I might show at the end of this video where you're supposedly able to advance to one to the next and one file to the next. It doesn't work as well as you would think it would. Anyway, I'm going to show it working. This is the schematic. Hope that shows up. these little, oh, it's upside down. Right down here are 3 resistors, 10K resistors, that pull those 3 lines that set up the thing to either high or low. So the con 1 is pulled low with a 10K resistor. Con 2 is pulled to 3.3 volts with a 10K resistor. And con 3 is pulled to low with a 10K resistor. You can see that right here, hopefully. The board will run on 5 volts. It has a 5 volt input, but the internal logic and everything is 3.3 volts. So these pull-ups and pull-downs, they need to be pulled up to 3.3 volts, not 5 volts. I see that commonly on the internet, people are pulling them to 5 volts, which I'm not sure if that'll hurt anything or not, but pull them up to 3.3 volts. Now, these LEDs, I'm going to show it working right now. I've got my power supply over here. I'll turn the output on. The way I've got it wired, instead of switches on those inputs for triggering files, I've just got a little jumper here to jumper them to ground.
Exterminate! Exterminate all humans! We have already conquered Earth. Exterminate! Annihilate! Destroy! Daleks conquer and destroy! You make your incompetence sound like an achievement. We are the masters of Earth. Why do human beings kill human beings? Obey us or die. Why do human beings kill human beings?
So as you can see, it's displaying the sound. The LEDs flash in more or less sync with the audio. That is not my idea. There's a user on the Pickaxe forum called ERCO, E-R-C-O, that he showed how to use these little boards, and that's one of the things that he showed. If you put the LEDs straight across the speaker output, he wasn't using a resistor, I don't think, but I am. I put a 150 ohm resistor in there just to be safe. So you come out of your one speaker output over to the 150 ohm resistor to the 2 LEDs wired in series, just like they were batteries. So anode to cathode where they connect, and then back to the other speaker output. I don't think it matters which polarity of the LEDs. You just have to put them in series. So where they connect together, you'll want to put cathode to anode. I hope that makes sense. Just a little 28 millimeter diameter speaker up here. This switch is just the wire I was using, but you could have 8 switches for each of the I/O positions. One other thing I thought I might do, although this is probably not the way I would do it, I've got a little 2N7000 MOSFET up here, which is not nearly big enough for this job, but it's working a little bit, to drive a motor, and that's just coming off when the sound files are playing. This Con 3 busy line, it will go high. It'll normally be low here because it's pulled down, but it'll go high to signify that there's something happening. And normally it's been used to be read by a microcontroller, so you can tell when the thing is finished doing its thing, when it's finished talking or making its sound, playing its file. But I just ran it through a little MOSFET, TO92 MOSFET to drive this motor. Now if the motor stalls out, this is not going to be nearly powerful enough to drive the motor. I'll have to use a different MOSFET in the final design, or I might just use a relay, a small TTL relay, read relay type thing. When I eventually finish this, I will probably drive it with a Pickaxe microcontroller. But I wanted to show this mode right here because I think it's really useful.
Exterminate. We have already conquered Earth. Exterminate, annihilate, destroy. Daleks conquer and destroy. We are the masters of Earth.
This I'm thinking about using to animate these and maybe have the head twisting back and forth while it's talking. Maybe. I'm not sure. We'll see where it goes. I'll show how much current it draws. When it's just sitting there idling, it's drawing 20 milliamps. So you wouldn't want to run this off of batteries for very long. It would run them down pretty fast. When it's playing a file,
We have already conquered Earth.
and some of that's this motor. I'll take the motor out of a circuit. The motor's not pulling very much because it doesn't have any load on it.
Exterminate all humans.
You can see it jumps
Exterminate, annihilate, destroy.
up there,
Daleks conquer and destroy.
jumps up to about 0.8 milli or 80 milliamps when it's playing.
Masters of Earth. Exterminate. Obey us or die.
Now this thing has many different modes. This is probably the most useful if you don't want to use a microcontroller. I'm going to reset this thing and show the other mode and show this mode right here. It's you set it in this mode and you have like a next and a previous, but they also control the volume up and down if you hold them. And this is PP mode and MOND, or PP and mode, pause, play, and I'm not sure what this mode thing means. I haven't, I've tried different ways of activating it and it didn't seem to do anything. It's just a play and pause from what I've seen. This equalizer, it has different like settings, like an equalizer setting. And there's a repeat function over here. You would think this would be useful for like if you wanted to put it on your little toy or robot or whatever. You could just hit this next button and it'd play a sound and then wait until you hit it again. I'll set it up for that mode and show you what it actually does. Well, I have it set up for this standard MP3 mode, it's called, by setting those resistors to pull con 3 and con 1 to 3.3 volts and con 2 down to ground. And these are the buttons that in relations to the I/O pins. So next, previous, play, pause, mode, equalizer, and repeat. So let's walk through those. First of all, I'm going to power it up and you're going to see what it does when I power it up.
Exterminate.
Starts playing all on its own. If I go down here 3 spots, I can pause it.
Exterminate, annihilate, destroy.
If you temporarily push those,
Conquer and destroy. You make.
simulating the push button. If you just push it in and hold it,
Exterminate. Exterminate all humans. We have already exterminate. Exterminate all humans. We have already conquered.
so it's kind of hard to get it to do what you want it to do. I'll get it to playing again. 1, 2, 3 down.
Exterminate. We have already conquered.
This is the next step.
Exterminate. You make. We are. Why do human
This
beings?
is previous.
You make your incompetent sound like an achievement.
If you hold them, they're volume controls. The second one down is volume down.
Why do human
First pin is volume up.
We do not release prisoners. We are the masters
Now if we
of
go
the
down
earth.
to the
I
fourth one,
warn you, resistance is useless.
it's the equalizer.
We will strike. Exterminate. Exterminate all humans. We have already conquered Earth. Exterminate, annihilate, destroy. Daleks conquer and destroy. You make your incompetence sound like an achievement. We are the masters of Earth. Why
So
do
it cycles through those different equalizer settings. Now if we go down to 5 down, it's a repeat.
We do not release prisoners. We are the masters of the earth. We do not release
And we'll just sit there and play that one over and over
We are the masters of the earth. We do not
until you hit it again.
prisoners. We are the masters of the earth. I warn you, resistance is useless. We will exterminate. We have already conquered Earth.
So,
Exterminate, annihilate.
in my opinion, that's not that useful. If it would just start up silent and then you could start it by pressing the next button, that would be much more useful. But this is the way it works. Not sure how a person would use this in a project, and but I wanted to do it to show how it functions. This does have other modes. These first two modes, the I/O pins are basically binary numbers. So unless you've got some digital logic or a microcontroller, and if you have a microcontroller, you just use a UART in it probably. You wouldn't. I don't see any use for these because you can put like your 8-pin or 8-bit pattern on there, and that's the song it'll play. If you had an old computer parallel port, you could use that for it, I guess. But again, I don't see what useful. It's not very useful in my opinion. It has 4 megabytes of onboard memory. That's something I should have said up front. This doesn't use a SD card. It has the memory right on board. To put the files on there, you just plug it into your computer through this USB port right here, connector. It'll show up kind of like a flash drive or a thumb drive. Then you just drag your files over there. Now it seems to have the same restrictions that like the DF player have. You have to drag the files over in the right order for it to work correctly. And you're supposed to number them right in the correct order too. You can see the numberings or the file naming scheme here. 5 digits, with the last one being the number. And then you can go up to, well, if you're operating in this mode, you're only going to be able to play 8 files. If you're doing the UART, you could do many, many more. Well, I think that's what I wanted to show. I think it actually sounds pretty good. This is just a little 28 millimeter speaker. This would be a nice addition to a lot of projects.
Daleks conquer and destroy. You make your
I like the Dalek sound bites. Well, thanks for watching.